Hello and welcome once again to Wars Going On. I'm Arcturus and we are here on the Forerunner server to bring you the latest in what's going on in Watcher of Realms. As ever, this is a community-based podcast, and do remember to like and subscribe and get involved down in the comment section. Share it with your guild and let others know. The channel is still growing. We hit 500 last week. We're going to do the draw at the end of this episode for 1,999 W gold. And on to 1,000. We're doing really well. So, as you can see, this week I'm joined by the Prospector because Sebastian has a life outside of this game, and I think if he's not playing the game, he's probably getting ready for his Champions of Tya match that he's doing later on. So, I think there's some of that strategizing going on there as well.
Yeah, I could say it's pretty stressful. Being in that last one, I'm sure he's going to be really busy trying to, they worry about that a lot. Trying to ramp up and get going.
So this week, there's obviously the big patch arrived on Global. The key thing you didn't get, obviously, was Malric, who landed with you, and I'm sure he will be in the next patch. I'm probably going to spend a bit of time talking with someone about it over the next week. I might try and roll it into the episode. He wants to do a big thing. He's got like a big, leaks for next week, but got some topics for next week. But Malric might be one of them. But today, looking ahead to the celebration of Tya, the anniversary, which is starting to come around. On the 8th of June last year, the developers started putting out information about the celebration of Tya, the anniversary, and they put out lots of information, and they started putting out lots of details about what was coming up. So free summoning events, where they was going to get what gems they were going to be handing out. There was the details of the fusion heroes. So obviously last year we got Helga, who is a really solid unit. I still make use of her in my Abyss teams. I don't know if you use her still at all.
Not really, because I'm kind of pushing really endgame stuff, but she does kind of pop up in APOC 1 for me. So for my secondary team, she's super strong. It's a super useful unit. So and when we got her, anybody would have been happy to have her because she's just game changing for the time.
Yeah, she's definitely in my my APOC 1 team. I sometimes run a full Nightmare team with Helga and just let that go wild on APOC 1 because it's great fun. And Micah, who is kind of a little underwhelming, but mostly because we can't get awakenings for her. And I was looking back through her kit the other day, and I actually think that if we could get awakenings for her, she'd be quite good in Abyss because she's got a lot of shield break in her kit, and she does a lot of ramping up and progressive damage in her kit. But as it stands, she's just a little underwhelming, and she's only A0 unless you put soul stones in her. And
I think if they made that the awakenings like much more powerful, where we'd be interested in putting soul stones into her, where there's like a super high value in awakenings, then it'd probably be fine. But yeah, not being able to pull her at any point in time kind of sucks. And it's weird too. I don't know why we can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one, but I mean, they keep saying that there's an expansion coming to Odyssey, but that there's still no details about what that's going to entail, and they still haven't solved the problems that they've got with a lot of people are gatekept out of the Platinum 3 arena stage, which they haven't come up with a solution for.
Yeah, I think they made it worse with the new stage changes. Locked in the big 3 as being the most important, and then Lady A got involved too, and then it was just all over from there. Honestly, I think if they would have just left it, we probably would have been fine. We had like 2 or 3 different teams for each, type arena. So yeah, now it's just overran by Valderon. I want to say Yuri and Lady A.
Yeah, I'm coming across far too many A5 Lady Alexandras on the Forerunner server. It's just horrendous to look at.
Yep.
Okay, so what else did they do? They then put out a load of skins, like them or not, for the epic heroes. There's Idril on a night out, the Wrath skin, which with Wrath with wings, which some people love. I personally hate it.
Yeah. I don't think it makes much of a difference the way he looks. To be honest with you, putting him into the game wasn't very. Or onto the field, it doesn't make any difference. I like the field changes more than just the skin itself. You know, his doesn't really just seem to do that much.
No, it gives him wings, so he looks a little bit more imposing. But the trouble is, he's then shrunk down more to fit him on the tile. So,
yeah.
And Golden Olag, which is available in the skin shop, and it's quite a common one. So, and they've given it out a couple of times now in the skin bags. So if you haven't got it already, it's one to look forward to.
Yeah, and all the skin vouchers you can pick up too are nice.
Yeah. Now this was a really good one, an absolute game changer of I think Barber in the Void Rift, because you get so much more opportunity for the exclusive meteorites that it's pretty much the default that everyone uses now if you have them. Now they did say that there'd be an opportunity to pick him up from the skin shop, and I'm hoping that they've got this common sense to run that at the same time as the anniversary. So that will be a nice feature, and hopefully they'll introduce another new mount for Void Rift. Although, given that everyone speedruns Void Rift these days, that you're not going to get as much time looking at it as you might otherwise.
Yeah. But it is an amazing change that when they add that on there. That was a pretty good gift, I would say. Big changer.
Okay. Excuse me. The video summary of the year, that was a nice thing to have. I do believe I did hear Susie saying that they managed to use copyrighted music on it in previous years. So hopefully this time they'll use appropriate music and it won't get copyright struck if you put it up on YouTube.
Yeah, they did that for Christmas too. Anybody who had the music playing in the background, I forget the name of the song, but yeah, I actually had that playing once, and I put a video up, and the whole video got flagged because every time I'd go back to the main screen, it would play that song, and YouTube was like, "Oh no, revenue share coming in."
No.
So, they could do better on this time, though. I think I wish they would. It's probably too late for them to make any changes to whatever they got planned now, but. It is cool, but I can tell you that I was expecting much more from it because of my past experience with Raid, and the video that Raid gave to all the players was much more information, I guess. It was giving you much more information throughout the whole video. This detailed stats and everything, where you were as far as ranks, and the last one that we had just didn't seem to catch me on a personal level as far as what we were doing, but it was still neat to have. It's something in there. People can kind of go and check it out. It's pretty cool, but I do think they could do a little bit more detail on these videos, just to do a little bit better. Hopefully, maybe they'll do better. Maybe they got plans for it anyways.
Yeah. Then there was sort of all sorts of fun rewards that they threw out. There was obviously Anora, who was run as a limited during that period, and they gave out exclusive artifacts. Opportunity to get the Radiant Meteorites for exclusive artifacts. There were loads of Ancients and gifts and banner art, and just summon stones. But that was it. That was what was there last year. Now, what do we think is coming this year? So, I'm pretty confident that Karosa is going to be a fusion hero coming for coming for the anniversary. Now, She's a bit. I've shown her a couple of times. She's got a weird range, and she does her ramping up damage over time, and she boosts all mages with this esoteric wisdom skill. So kind of like a very limited Nerrisa, but just for mages. And when she first came out on Forerunner, she was pretty hated. But she was a shard fusion, and they have just given her a rework. So I think there's a high chance that they're now going to be looking to push her out to global.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, they just put that buff on her, so
Yeah.
and I think on Forerunner that buff was live, right?
Yeah, this is it. This esoteric wisdom. So 6% damage to all mages, and she doesn't even need to be deployed. So she can just be sat on your roster in your ranks. The level 1 unskilled, that there, 6%. That's the same as having an A2 unnamed dragon, which I think is an amazing buff. I mean, yes, it's limited to just mages, but still 6% damage for doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think it's a pretty good buff if you want to just do something weird with some kind of mage or something, but it can't be any worse than Callista, right? I think
Callista,
it could be better than Callista, so go ahead and launch her onto the game. I mean,
yeah. I mean, Callista is like really, really niche. I mean, if she was a 3x knockback at A0, she would be so much more useful. But the fact that they not locked it behind A3, and again, this is another hero that they've released into the game, and they haven't really made widely available beyond that. Because I don't think she's in the summon pool, is she?
I don't think so. Offhand, I don't know for sure though.
No, doesn't look like he's there. Zaris, Beelzebub, Twyla, Beatrix, Crowder, Phineas. Yeah, she's not there.
Right, so you gotta use a soul stone on her to get her there. Well, it's just another hero that they should probably add to the pool.
Exactly. So, if Callista would be interesting if she had better knockback at A0, because then you could use her in the gear dungeons to help deal with the banshees. Especially because her ultimate is auto, that you don't have the luxury of being able to time it perfectly. And this was something that
they should just change to, just take that auto ultimate away.
Yeah.
And that'd be fine, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that this is something we were talking about before we started recording, is the fact that there's a lot of heroes who are in the game who they've kind of locked away and they haven't made them available in the pool. So Callista's one, Init's another, Micah, who Micah might have some potential if you could get her to higher awakenings, but people haven't done that because they haven't seen the use yet. But it may be that once you start, if you could get those awakenings into Micah, then she might have some utility in something like Abyss. So
yeah, and on the touching note on the Init thing, I think that if I were Moonton, I would definitely be running especially events throughout the year, here and there. So maybe a couple fusions or something like that, where you can keep trying to unlock more copies of him, like maybe keep him out of the summon pool, but because I know they're not going to put him in there because he's supposed to be your progressor reward, right? So, but if they were to make special events and just keep it, make it so we can just keep earning him somehow, or some kind of points that we do for some gameplay, whatever, and we can save up and try to buy more soul stones for Init. I mean, that would be cool. Maybe after you buy Lady A, throw him up in the Apex coin shop or something. You know what I mean? Something.
Yeah.
He's a great hero. I mean, I have mine. I have 3 soul stones in mine because I was like, hey,
wow.
Yeah. Well, 2. I have the one from him.
Yeah, the one free one.
2 more in there. Yeah, so he's A3 on my account, and I was just being funny by doing it. I was like, whatever. don't know. But yeah, if I put him on the field in a lot of gameplay, he does extremely well. He's probably not going to out damage Alistair A1 or something like that, but he does offer a lot of utility, and he's a very good progressive hero. So yeah, some kind of like rewards, maybe just standard arena coins or something like that. A lot of them where you can just keep saving and pick them up. But Callista and Micah, yeah, they should probably just throw them in the pool. I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah, at this stage they've been sort of around. They've existed long enough that they need to do something with her, with those two heroes, just to make them either pull them out of the game and give everybody something, or just put them in the pool and let people get them. But then you get into the whole argument about pool dilution, which is a little bit of a hot topic at the moment, and people being unsuccessful with summon banners. I know that there was a big video put out between 4 content creators. I think it was Fasti, Dr. Deez, Sebastian, and Kory.
I think it was.
Kory. And they spent a lot of time discussing the issue, and they encourage people to put their thoughts in the comment section. I haven't seen it, so I'm not really going to comment on it, but I have spoken to Sebastian a lot about the topic, and he's always been very keen about these sort of progressive banners the rate up banners. So if you don't get the banner hero on your first pity, then you get an increased chance for your next, and so on until you get it, and then it resets. So I think that would be really good, and I know when I was hunting Diao-Chan Awakenings that I put so much. I pretty much completely emptied my account chasing Diao-Chan, and I got her A0. I put so many summons into that weekend and I just got nothing. I was like 50,000 something points on the ultimate leaderboard.
We all do really bad on Diao-Chan though. I think like the majority of players just did terrible on her. I think I put 1,300, 1,400 summons into her or something like that. I did get the A1, I believe, but it was like on that last 100 summons that I picked up the A1. It's like the worst summoning session that I've had. That's the worst banner for me, anyways. Was Diao-Chan. The rest of them I did pretty good, I guess.
I got so many good heroes,
Wukong,
but I got so many good heroes that boosted my account. But at the end of the day, it was not the hero I was after, so it was a little bit frustrating. So
and this so important.
Absolutely, and yeah, I've now sunk a soulstone into her, and yeah, she's used absolutely everywhere. But yeah, this last weekend gone, I think I didn't summon on the Hex banner really, but the previous banner for who was it last week? Okay, the last weekend I Wukong. I was chasing.
It's the new one.
No, I was chasing Wukong again, and so Wukong
Cassiel and Wukong, and who else was down there? There was a bunch.
Yeah, so I was chasing Wukong, and Yuri and Lord Phineas were the other two last week. I was only interested really in getting my Wukong to A5, and I went pretty hard. You can see I've got 18,000 gems left, but that was I went a lot deeper than I wanted to try and get that A5, and it didn't happen. I just drew a line under it at the end. It was like, no, I've got to leave something for the anniversary.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. So if you figure, I think other games, if I wanted to bring up an example, would be like Raid Shadow Legends already has a progressive rate up for its summon banners. I think it's on most of them. I think it's permanent on all of them now. So if they put a banner up, if I remember correctly, if they put a banner up, you get an extra 20x, I believe, every single time you hit a legendary, and it's not that banner hero. So within 4 legendaries, that next legendary you get is going to be guaranteed. It's still going to be a hot topic, but at least something would be there where you're increasing that rate 20 times each time. Yeah. And then eventually, maybe like the 5th hero, you're just like guaranteed. You know, you should be guaranteed to get that within 5. You're 1,000 summons in for the most part. Just Moonton wouldn't be able to really justify fighting back on that one, I don't think. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean that's a lot of summons to get guaranteed on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
But they do have to be careful. They can't make it too easy to achieve these heroes because obviously that's what keeps the game going, the money rolling in, and keeps our servers
yeah,
going. These live servers like this, they need to make money. But yeah, I could see where the players are complaining about that. This is something it's kind of old news. It's been going on for many, many years before Watcher Realms was even a thing.
yeah.
Raid ups on banners and stuff for other games. So, and everybody else has got that kind of figured out, and we're still sitting here. Yeah, we don't have it figured out very well. We do get to summon a lot more though. That's something to keep in mind. We do summon much more than other games.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a lot
pretty
easier
much
to get crystals.
it's every other week there is pretty much a banner hero that's up, and it might be a rerun, but there's normally banner heroes every other week, and then they have the 2X's in between, and occasionally they have the 1+1s like this week. When they deign to put it on the Forerunner server at the same time as global. That's another argument for another day. And yeah, they have done it this time. So yes, congratulations, Boonton. You listened when you annoyed all of the Forerunner players. And yeah, I mean, it's just a case of we've got the opportunity to summon, and they are pretty generous, especially when they lead up to things like the anniversary. I think they gave out about 50 blue summon stones last year. It was enough to get you a good way towards pity.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that again for this year. I'm not going to be doing like 1,000+ summons like I did last year because I don't have it saved up this time. But maybe for Christmas I'll be able to restrain myself.
Yeah, I don't think I was really ready last year when the events came around. They do give you a ton for a lot of the events that kind of come into play. I wish they would do like more things like Sumu Kong event where you're running around on the map and taking enemies on or whatever. That kind of stuff is really cool, especially for like an anniversary for the game. That something to keep in mind that they should try to do that. I wish they would.
They used to do sort of like hero trials. So when Valeria first came into the game, they had this like 5-stage progression thing where they just like let you play with her and experiment with how she worked. But they did it for Falcia as well, where you had the stages where you got to play with her and sort of see how her kit worked with switching damage types. But those are always really tricky because they're always really slanted to make the hero look amazing.
Yeah.
But
it gives you ideas too on how she would work, for anybody that's going to be getting her, But
and I think one thing that they was anything with like a leaderboard is always good fun as well, because we had the Lust Arrogance one with its the boss, and it had the roguelike cards that came up, and you could boost your attack in a certain way. And then they kind of did something similar for Dahlia when she came out, and you could attack.
Yeah, that one was actually pretty fun. I loved pushing that one, the Dahlia one.
Yeah, that was a good one. They did a little bit but recently they haven't really. They've kind of moved away from that, and it's like, no, you've just got to get this score, and they've just ramped the damage up a bit higher, and it's like, okay, but I kind of really enjoyed the roguelike bits because that was good fun, and it was random and
gave me a good reason to run it over and over again, 100 times.
Yeah, exactly.
To push the leaderboards, and I agree.
I really wish they'd bring back more of those on a regular basis. And that's one of the reasons that I actually liked the long version of Void Rift, because it was a different challenge every time. You got something a little bit of variation. I get it's a bit more of a time sink, but I still liked running Void Rift every week in full. So there were some stages I hated. Anything with Ludwig, skip that. But the rest of them
was annoying. Yeah. So
Bloody
that's something
tentacles.
else that they could touch on is just a random tangent here, but still sitting with Torador Void Rift, and we're still sitting here with the Seer Void Rift. Like, why can't they should be doing that like a different one every week? Like, there should be 4 for every week of the month, and then they should cycle.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of this tower. What do you call it? Tower of Deception here.
Okay,
As far as
I
know,
forgot that
they added
exists.
some. Yeah, I know. Like, I know it's there, and I know they added 5 more stages, right?
Yeah.
Because it was maxed out at 25.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the stages that we're all doing are exactly the same as the last time it was up. So if that's their plan, then I mean it's kind of boring, isn't it? Like, I guess it's pretty hard to keep creating like 25 different stages over and over again.
But they
could
don't
kinda...
have to. They don't have to. I mean, what they can do is just randomize these modifiers every week or every month that they do those. They just I've just seen I've got 2 days left to push this. Whoops. So guess what I'm doing tomorrow?
Yeah, I gotta do it. I got more time than you. I got 8 days yet.
Yeah. So they got modifiers here, so they could randomize those every month to allow people to push on. And
maybe they could buff or nerf certain factions out of them. Just change limits on them. Maybe that'd be too annoying to some of the people, but there's other things too that they could do. They could take like they could cycle the same stages, like like 1 or stage 5, 15, and 25 could be the same boss. And then you could just keep scaling it up as you go up the tower. Again, that kind of something that I know from Raid with their what do you call it? It's like Doom Tower, I think. I don't remember what they call it in Raid anymore. But they had
I played Raid for a week, so I'm not the person to ask. So
yeah, I think they had you'd climb, and then you'd have like 5 in between stages, which are actually pretty tough on the way up, and then you get to like stage 10. And they would have a boss at it, and you have to take on the boss. And you get to stage 20, and it'd be a different boss. So there'd be 3 bosses every month, and they'd cycle those out 3 months. So you'd have how many different bosses? 9 different bosses. And as you climbed up higher in the tower, to get it completed, the last one was going to usually be like the level 10 boss, but just completely out of control. He was just like really hard to take down. So that's something else that they could consider too, instead of trying to make 150 different stages. That's kind of I can understand why they did that, but there's definitely better options here for the Tower of Deception, and I kind of find it interesting the first playthrough, and then the rest of it I'm just kind of like, oh, I have to move all my gear around, try to do this again. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
I got better things to do.
On the plus side, they have introduced gear lock now for most content. The only things that aren't there now are the XP raids, the gold raids, and the promotion stages. So pretty much everything is there. I can't recall if the new campaign stages have come to global yet.
Yes, we have them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of slowly working my way through hard chapter 9 because try and get to the gold stage, but it's
just the chapter 9s. I think it's just the same exact as normal, right? Just amped up. Is that am I thinking that right?
That's exactly it. There's no modifiers there that of hero limitations, except heroes can't die. That seems to be the primary one. For the limitations, which is kind of interesting, but it just by the time you're running these, untouched,
I would say
nobody dies.
That it's a good thing that they didn't release these 2 chapters in hard and expert originally, or a long time ago. I don't think we would have been able to beat them. No, maybe we could have, but it's like the chapter 9 boss is ridiculous, right? So that was hard enough at the time, and I was ahead of most players at that point, and I would struggle with it. There's some weird comps you can use to get it done, but can you imagine like chapter 10, stage 15 on expert? I don't even want to think about it.
I haven't finished stage 10 yet, chapter 10 yet.
Oh god. That stage, trying to record a guide for that made me so mad. I finally got through it because of the RNG and the freezes and frostbite and everything. And it was like, I would get through it, it would work, and I'd go, okay, ready to record. And I'd go and do the stage just like I did, and it would mess up. And I'd try again, and mess up. And I'd have all this like video feed just sitting there, raw. And then I would be like, okay, I got to figure out what's going on. And I'd stop recording and then go to do it again. And then I'd start recording, and then it would fail. And God, just drive me insane.
Yeah,
it was like 15 hours, I think, of messing around with this stupid stage just to get a guide out. And it's like, yeah, okay, this is gonna work sometimes, but not all the time. But
Gear Raid 322 was exactly like that for me as well, because that evolution strike where she hits the AoE out was just absolutely taking out my left hand side, and it was just getting the timing of that and working out when to deploy that hero. And sometimes you just like, no, I'm just going to throw it at that hero anyway.
Yeah, like, why did I do that? Darn it. Yeah, Gear Raid 3 seems pretty tough. I actually have not tried Gear Raid 322 out yet. I did Gear Raid 1 to stage 22. I tried 23, and you would imagine that an account like mine would be able to beat that.
Yeah.
I did it live. I had a bunch of people in there, and they're all just in awe because it was just not happening. Just couldn't take him down. It seems to be a Magda blocked kind of stage. You don't have her down on the bottom there. It's real tough. If I didn't have Magda, I had to run Mari. It's like, yeah.
I haven't tried it because I don't have Beelzebub, but I do have it. I do have an A3 Ingrid, so I've kind of been using like an Ingrid, trying to use that, but she's just not been doing it. I finally got Beatrix fully skilled up, so I'm going to try and play with her a bit more. But I think I just need to go away and see if I can adapt one of the Beelzebub comps to see if I can get that working for me.
Did you get Gear Raid 2 done?
Gear Raid 2, I've got to 23. I have been shown a Carnelian variation because I don't have A1 Haas that should get me to 24, but I haven't sat down and done it because it just involves shifting the gear around. I think if you've got Sadie and you've got Ardia and Ares, you can cover off all of the damage to kill everyone. And the challenge is then keeping your tanks and your healers alive for long enough to get through it, and that's all it becomes down to. But
which is very hard.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
Yeah, and just having the right amount of regen to go through, because you pretty much need to have Eloin on the pitch, and you need to have Fercy on the pitch, and you need to have Alien. Well, you need to have Sadie. So it's balancing all of those units around, and a couple of really strong tanks to get your damage out and stay alive.
Yeah, I think, and all your healers got to be sitting on the field with, what is it? I think I did run my Eloin in 40 to 45k HP Guardian set to keep her butt alive to finish off the last stage, because she just kept getting popped and I couldn't keep her going, It was, and all the other healers that were on the platforms too, you had to build them super weird to get through that stage, which is cool, I guess, but yeah, it's tough. But that's the easiest of the three, as far as I can tell. So far I haven't tried Gear Raid 3, but
Gear Raid 3, I'm in the process of skilling up Allura because my Allura wasn't particularly well skilled up. So I think I need 2 more skill crystals for her, and then I'm going to try 23 because I think I've got a very well awakened Kai. My Silas is maxed, so he's quite happy to go off and attack that on his own. When I did 22, the first time I did it, I was having so much trouble with the right-hand side before when the units first went out that I was dropping Hatsa in to deal with the first enemy and then swapping her out for Allura just so I could get the Ivar to allow Allura to scale up enough to deal with them in the future. But yeah, that first unit was the hardest one for me on the right hand side, but everything else I had covered. But yeah, it was dealing with that.
Yep, they're tough. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Gives everybody something to work for, though. You don't have to access it at the same time. Gives you something in the end game. I would say, PVE content in the end game. I think when PvP is the only end game you have to work with, I think that's when players start to get really upset with each other in the company, and they have to put PvE content out of reach of most of the player base, and then you have something to work towards. Otherwise, what banner are you going to go to? I don't know. I have everything completed. I don't, if you have something you're struggling with, like right now, I'm waiting for a Magda banner or a Beelzebub banner or something along those lines to help me with grade 1. So I have a goal. So that's something that I think people have to keep in mind, that you're not really meant to just beat the whole game. It's not how it works. No. It's a gacha game, slowly build up, and then, some of us are 2 years into this game right now, and we're still struggling with these new gear raids coming out, and that's says something, Right?
Yeah, I mean that's it. I think I started in February 2022. So because I'm Forerunner server, I was in the beta, so I've been here even longer than most people, and I'm mostly free to play. I do spend occasionally, but yeah, I certainly struggled with a lot of these new stages, and it is a combination of having the right heroes and just having the luck on this when you do summon, so that you can build up for getting through these stages. But it's nice to especially as I'm now starting to have a bit more luck on the ancients, that I'm getting theories like Carnelian and Ardia, so I can go off and do some more exciting content. Because without Ardia, I would never have been able to do Gear Raid 2, 22, 23, because she is so fundamental for being able to put out that damage across such a long distance.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Makes it really tough to use somebody else, but you can. So I used Kagiri. I did have Artie on the team too, but then I ran Kagiri as well, and he would just mow whatever was out in front of him, But I did try some other options besides Kagiri, and I really struggled. I don't have Ares, so all I had to work with was Ardia and maybe like a Valkyra or something like that, and it just wasn't working out for me, even with the really high awakenings on Valk. And I ended up using Kagiri. He comes out, swipes him, takes him out, and that was the best I could do. I actually did it on a live stream, so if anybody wants to see me get really frustrated on live, that's a good one to do. I think it was 4 hours trying to beat that one stage. Like everybody is just like, oh yeah, he's getting frustrated. So like, I am getting frustrated. I just want to stop. But
I think that's how long it took me to record this stage, because the number of times I would do it, I'd try it, and RNG would hit, and it's start again. It was so frustrating.
Those videos, they just take longer the harder the content is,
Yeah.
But.
So, so that was, we talked about summoning, we talked about things that we think might be happening for the anniversary. Do we think that Nerrisa, who is this new healer who is on the cards, might be another fusion hero? Because I haven't heard of any other things. She's obviously not going to be on the ancient pool. It's unlikely to be a limited hero because she's good, but she's not game breaking. Do you think she might be the other fusion hero alongside Kurosa?
I think that would be one of the best fusions we ever had if they did that. Honestly, honest opinion is I don't think it will be.
Okay.
I personally think it's just going to be a regular old 20x rate up banner trying to pull for Nerrisa, and I wouldn't be shocked if there's some really junky hero next to her on the same banner, making it even harder to get her. She is very, very good, right? She's going to be bringing some things to the table, solving some of our issues with legendaries or certain legendaries being required for this stage. She answers a lot of that question. You need First everywhere. Well, if you don't have First, maybe you got Nerrisa now. That's another option. You know what I mean? So She is a good unit. Yeah, I think she's just gonna end up being a regular raid up.
Okay.
But I haven't really heard anything official. I don't believe I've even seen somebody leak something about it yet, but I don't really follow a lot of those guys doing that stuff either. So usually I hear some kind of talk in the chat and I gotta try to track it down and get rid of it. But in general, I haven't seen anything. So yeah.
So I mean, I have heard some rumors, but nothing with a high degree of confidence about what might be coming with her. But I think that would be definitely something that they could do for the player base, which is like, because so much endgame content now requires an AoE healer. It's like, okay, well, here's an AoE healer.
Yep. And all that damage reduction.
Yeah.
I forget her kit. It offers some inspiration on it too, I think, doesn't it?
Well, it adds the abyssal. It adds inspiration on one unit and 8 tiles, up to 8 tiles around that unit, because it's the abyssal eye or something.
Right.
So it's great if it lands on a unit that's clustered in the middle, but if it lands on a unit which is on the edges, then it's going to be less useful.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going into some testing on her tomorrow, and then posting a vid about it. Hopefully, Monday. So I haven't really looked into her too much yet, but yeah.
The videos I've seen, she looks pretty impressive, and the fact that she's going to be able to help out take on the magic shield stages in Abyss is going to be quite a nice feature. But from all accounts, the amount of damage she's putting out is pretty low. Now, that might be because she requires a really specific build, and the damage is based on a healing effect or something random that's not obvious at the moment. But excuse me. So yeah, I mean, she might help, but she's not going to be transformative in terms of damage. But her healing is really, really strong. Right. What else were we going to talk about? So we talked about how. So the build up for this, the moon. So last year, Moonton started the build up around this time. So hopefully something should come out in the next week, at least starting to give us information about what's coming up. So look out for that, and hopefully they can manage people's expectations, because this time August last year is when Ingrid came out, and she's been really transformative for the game. There's obviously a lot of talk about the new unit type that's on the way. What are they called? The
Tactical masteries.
Tactical mastery heroes. Yeah, so that will probably come towards the end of the anniversary stages. Now, again, they're probably going to be ancient exclusives, but they could add something really dynamic to the gameplay from what they said to War Guides about that. So,
and I think that Malric thing there is probably gonna hit on the anniversaries as well. Which,
yeah, definitely.
Believe it or not, I think it's a lot bigger than people are really. I don't see a lot of excitement about hearing about it, and I made a video too about showing what it does, and I know War Guide made a video about it. And it's like people are kind of like underwhelmed by it, but in reality, from like I said, I'm gonna bring up raid again. This is like the third time in this video, and I apologize, but bringing up the enemy. But those items that you can attach to your gear, like for raid, is what makes you. It's a difference between endgame and like beginner. I swear to it. It's gonna make a huge difference, especially in gear raids. You're trying to get past those attack thresholds. You're trying to getting your gear amped up, and these games are all about gear. They always have been. These runes are gonna be massive. You're gonna want to farm the heck out of these, and it might be some concern about creating a gap as well for early to end game, because the guys that are clearing the last stages of gear raids are going to have much more access to these things, but it does give them something to do in the end game. Somebody like myself, I have 7 pieces of Infernal Roar on a bangle that has attack percentage with flat attack as one of the quad roll on the bottom. So what am I supposed to do now? Like, I'm not farming anything to increase the strength of my account. I'm just farming for demons, I guess, but this gives me something to do, right? keep those end game players around is a good thing. You might think it's not, but the more players that are staying around and playing longer and longer, the better it is for the game, the health of the game in general. They need something to do. Kicking our butts is probably where it's going to be at.
No, these are really, really pretty tough. The amount of energy. So the BP required on this one. This is a legendary stage 3 mossy crystal, and the recommended BP is 948k. So they are not for small accounts. And you will get some rewards from attempting the really hard ones and losing, but you will be getting them from the purple crates, and that's not where you need to be getting. You need to be hitting these red crates and gold crates on here to get access to these Darkfall gems and these Evolution gems and the like, and these variant gems. That's where you're going to get the real benefit from doing these, but they are pretty hard. But the fact that you're going to be able to amp up the damage on an attack piece, a percentage attack piece, or the crit damage on a crit damage piece, or augment your artifacts with extra attack or extra stats, they're going to be really transformation. There is no way about it. They will create a gap between mid game and end game, because that's just kind of the nature of the game. But at the same time, they will add up some variation because people will have different modifiers. So it may be that some teams you are able to beat some other teams because you've got really lucky with a roll on one of these. So
yeah, and it's punishing too. I mean, if I remember correctly, if you lose, you just kind of lose out, right?
So I mean, you don't get to rerun it, but you get right. As you progress, because there will be up to like over 150 enemies coming in. So if you've like cleared out the first 4 waves, then you'll get the rewards for the first 4 waves. You just won't get them for the final waves. So there is some forgiveness in the system. But yes, for the really strong reward, the really best rewards, you're not going to get those unless you're getting all the way to the end. And because you've only got 3 platform units, your Pratoses, your Siluses, your ultra strong. If you've got Lady Alex, you're probably laughing. And if you've got an AoE effect healer who's really strong, then you're probably laughing. But everyone else, if you don't have constants, you're in trouble. So
gonna be tough. Big fighters,
definitely.
Big inspiration, big heals. Yeah. And like I said, it is kind of it will be punishing for those players because they're gonna run, probably thousands of runs trying to get these keystones and then stick them in there, and then they're gonna go and run it, and they're gonna fail. They're gonna run it and fail, and just burn in stamina trying to do it. Overall, it's gonna keep making them stronger and stronger, but yeah.
So Behemoth in my guild is currently trying to put together a kind of set guide of the ones he's encountered, and he's trying to put together sort of what he's found. But even within that, and with the ones that Sebastian's run on the test server, he said that he's found variation in the ones that look to have the same title and the same modifier, as in the release order will be different, and things might be different. So it's going to be really difficult for content creators to say this is how you complete this stage, because first of all, it's a one shot, so you've got one shot to get it right. And 2, what happens in the stage might not be exactly as it's recorded in the video in front of you. So,
right. Just kicking off some RNG. One of them stages. Yeah. Stage 15, chapter 10.
Okay, so other than sort of some complaints about lack of epics heroes in the guild, sort of in the general pool, I didn't really have a lot of else to talk about other than, I don't really have a lot else to talk. We have kind of touched on that in previous episodes, so I don't really have a great deal to talk. You mentioned something about the community view of content creators as something that you might, as a topic that you could touch on.
Sure, let me like kind of just break it down a little bit. So, being as transparent as like legally possible, I'm gonna say there is contracts with partners. I wanted to try to reveal what these contracts mean to us, and I think you probably know most of the partners that are in the content creator program that have that level of contract. And I think there's a lot of belief around those contracts that players believe that the creators are making videos talking and hyping up everything, overhyping every single thing that comes out. Now you may see like one or two creators that may do that. They're just trying to be positive for the most part. But as of the last wave that contracts that went out, there was some, I want to say, variations made to the contract upon our request. And one of those things was the ability to pretty much just crap on whatever thing that they release whenever we want to. If that's our opinion, we are allowed to do that. And I want you guys to know that. And they don't really punish us for making those kind of videos either. You know, they take that as feedback. And the only thing I will say that we're not really allowed to do is if we find a bug, they do kind of nix that within the contract. We're not really allowed to just make a video and say, hey, go take advantage of this bug. You can get immediately removed. But as far as like a new hero coming out, something along those lines, you might see a lot of like, oh, this hero is being overhyped, it's kind of garbage. No, if we're honestly telling you that this hero is good, I was making a whole video about it, a guide, that hero is really good. You know, I don't know. Did you ever hear anything like this from the community or like a general content bias from the, should I say, partner program for the most part?
I mean, I think the only hero who, at the time of release, was incredibly hyped up, who at the time of didn't really have his place, was Beelzebub. Beelzebub was getting an awful lot of praise when he was first like shown on the test server and was being leaked, and he looked at the time, everyone was going, oh, he's got this amazing kit, he can do this, he can do this, he can do this. But then when he came out, the reality was that unless you had High Awakenings, he wasn't really doing it. And in GVG, the maps weren't really working for him and he couldn't really do it. And it wasn't really doing anything. And he's now had a few kit tweaks, and the GVG maps are obviously changing, and the later gear raids have now come out. And actually, it's like, okay, he's got a really solid place there. He's doing the job he was designed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I think at the time that was one hero who was potentially a little oversold by some of the content creators. But I think that was just general enthusiasm for a different character, a model. I mean, the model was different, the range was different. So,
yeah. Right, he was super unique, if I remember correctly. And actually, I was one of the ones that posted a video just bashing the heck out of him. I was just bashing it. I didn't like him. I think the other one was Callista. Obviously, some people were really pushing that it was good, and I think that's a good thing to have a different opinion from many different creators. Like, you got one creator saying it's bad, you got another one saying that this hero is amazing. My suggestion is go watch both of those videos, because then you can really understand where they're both coming from and form your own opinion on it, right? Some creators might think a hero is really amazing and they're just putting out their videos saying it is. Beelzebub, on the other hand, was, like you said, was very unique at the time. He wasn't really fitting into a lot of stuff, and that was pre-AMR, or at the same time as an AMR just came out. So there was also a little bit of like, we weren't really thinking of using him there, I think, for a lot of content creators. We were like throwing him in Guild Boss 1, and we're throwing him in some of the gear raids, and some of those things he did well. But the cultist faction has gotten a little bit stronger as well since then. So we have Beatrix doing a lot better. We have Anora came around again, so I think a lot of people have gotten their Anoras to A5. A lot of things that have changed is where he's fitting into those teams really, really well. And yeah, like you said, GVG, things have changed. He's come around quite a bit. I would say he's still pretty niche.
Yeah.
But what he's doing is he's really good at. He's really good at doing what they're using him for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The healing effect that he's now got as well under a cultist leader is pretty clever, and it lets him makes him more viable in arena and in GVGs as well. So that you can have like no healer cultist teams in GVG. You're pretty nutty to do it, but you can do it if you want to.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it could be an interesting team comp there. I would say the other one that I was just thinking of is a more recent one, Cassiel, and I want to kind of pick your brain about him a little bit. Okay, I kind of just this is spontaneous, so guys watching, we didn't even discuss this at all ahead of time. Cassiel.
Yeah.
So I am getting incredible damage from this guy. So in Abyss 1, I'm putting him in there, and he is just pumping out damage, right? Now, what are your thoughts on in the video that you make a guide for him saying just how much damage he's actually doing, even though he's not really fitting into a team comp that works? Do you know what I'm saying? So he's just cranking away on Abyss 1, but you can't make a team that works in Abyss 1 with him under a Lord, and it just doesn't work out right. So well, I guess by making the video, I'm trying to say, well, the hero does incredible damage. He's doing about, what was it? I think 80% of Sun Wukong A5, and he was doing that at A1. So, I mean, that's really impressive. But then, it's the moment you put him onto your team roster, your Abyss 1 team fails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't work out.
So we know that there is more Lord reworks coming. So they've mentioned Venoma and they have mentioned Elder in kind of passing. So it could be that when the Elder rework comes through, the Northerners suddenly have a big push in Abyss, because then you've got all that extra shielding that you're bringing to the table, and that would make a lot of survivability difference. If you could go Poisoners and Northerners, that would be a really interesting combination. Obviously, you would have to be running Elder because you need that damage boost from the shields. But I think that could work quite well, especially with some of the Northerners. It would give Falcia a chance to shine because then she's under a Northern lead. You've got Cassiel, who's providing damage reduction to those people. You've got some of the best defenders in the game providing protection to units who are around them, increasing their survivability from the meteors. And then it's just you've just got to smash through those shields when they come up. So yeah, I think that will be what in the next half of the year, if a rework comes on Elder, that could be a meta shift in Abyss.
Yeah, they should give some love to Nocturne too while they're at it.
Yeah,
I want to use him in Abyss 1 so bad. But he got a good damage. He does true damage. His damage is really good, especially when you get him High Awakening and stuff. But
especially with his artifacts, because he cycles his ultimate so fast when you scale up his artifact. It's pretty much constant, especially if you've got any rage regen on the pitch. But yeah, he's just constantly hammering it out. Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's all I really had.
Yeah.
There's nothing else really coming to mind.
Before I completely forget, and everyone gets really annoyed that I haven't included this in the video. Right, so the thing that everyone came for is the summon comment picker from last week. So last week, I started the thing, and we had a keyword filter, and it was Arc 500. There was no replies, and everyone was in the top level. And there we go. 35 comments. Boom. So, Nismo717, you will be getting some W gold coming your way. I will capture that now. And yeah. You will be getting congratulations. Please, everyone, keep liking, subscribing, sharing with your allies, your guildmates, and soon I'm onwards and upwards towards 1,000.
Nice.
So thank you very much, Prospector, for joining me, and we will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Keep digging, everybody.